Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Harmony. I'm a twin flame expert helping twin flames around the globe phase spheres, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Welcome to my weekly glow show. Today's topic is embrace contrast and therefore you will be able to express your truth. You know, we had the new moon in Gemini yesterday on June 13th of 2018. At the same time, we also have the sun sign in Gemini here in June of 2018. Now, what that means is that's our light and our darkness coming together, creating contrast. And so we're being asked to embrace all sides of ourselves so that we can begin to accept all sides of ourselves. And what that's doing ultimately at the end of the day is creating expansion. And depending upon where you are in this energy timeline, I want to give you a little bit of background on this before I share with you 3 areas of your life that are being addressed during this new moon energy so that you can kind of understand what's happening better in the timeline of the energy. So this is kind of like a little bit of an energy report that I want to give you here. So in this aspect of this light and the dark, and if depending upon where you are, if you've been doing a lot of shadow work and you came into a place of acceptance self and you're moving past some of the lower vibrational energies and acceptance of yourself and where you are in this phase of the journey, now is the time to create magic. Now is the time that you're living in the vortex and all possibilities are showing up for you. At the same token, if you've been running, if you've been hiding, if you have not faced your fear, so to speak, you're being forced to have to. And that's causing what you need as the reflection out of that in order to get what you need to come to a place of not being willing to accept where you are any longer. So it can create the depths and the shadow work that you're actually having to do right now. So it depends on where you are in the scheme of this, but at the end of the day, it's the key to know is that accepting both sides of ourselves in the contrast and the duality of dark and light. And knowing that no matter where we are in this process, that embracing the process means we accept dark and light within us, and that it will always exist and we'll never have one without the other. And so we will never step out of no darkness, and being able to accept that side of us creates, like where we're at in the energy right now, coming into completing a cycle of ourself in the timeline of the evolution and the timeline of the energy where it is right now. So in addition to this new moon that we have in Gemini, which by the way, I do want to say Gemini is a twin flame month. It is also an air sign, which does represent the expansion. But what most of us are having to do now is where the vibration is on the internal, we're having to get the external and bring that into form. So collectively pulling in that as it is in heaven, so it is on earth, and bringing it into form in our reality. And to do that, I've talked so much in the past about landing the plane, and that's what we're bringing into form is the things that our heart desires now, that we're letting go of the logic of the mind. And in completion of this cycle, it's completing the evolution of where we're at in the phase of the journey of our soul's collective evolution, where we all are collectively. And so the timing of where Uranus is shifting into Taurus for the next 7 years is all about finding truth, which is really finding your identity. And this is where I'm talking about being able to come into the finding yourself so you can recreate yourself. That means that the key here is for you to learn to express yourself and accept all sides of that without the fear of rejection, because that's what most people are coming into, like a place of fear of rejection or not being accepted. But at the end of the day, what that means is there's still a layer of self-judgment that hasn't came into self-acceptance that's creating the projection that's being sent out for the reflection that you need to see in that mirror of the incidences that's happening and taking place, for you to be able to go into the deepest, darkest place of you, if you're getting to the greatest expansion work of yourself as well. That's where contrast is going to play a role here. In addition to that, we not only have Uranus and Taurus, but we also have Venus in Taurus, and that is how it's affecting all of our relationships. And we're having to reevaluate those relationships and learn how to manage how we communicate in a whole new and different way, implementing the templates that we've done from the past, revisiting those things to re-template how we handle and manage these things. And what I'm seeing in the energy pattern right now is cycles. When I talk about the cycle of self and the evolutionary cycle, we are actually revisiting a 3-year ago process as well as 2 years ago, but we're revisiting them in reverse than what we used to, the way we used to handle it from then. Meaning, like, however we handled it at that time, it's like we're visiting the other side of ourselves, so we're having to revisit this, maybe even the same exact situation with even maybe the same exact person, which is where the twins coming back through right now. But then in the past, maybe having been in the codependent side, but now having to be in the side of truth and standing up and setting loving boundaries and respect, you know, being in a place of self-respect that's creating what it is, and for more fulfillment that you are guaranteed to get now, that you wanted then, but you didn't know how to express yourself and express your truth then. So we're revisiting these cycles and these patterns to re-template how we handle that. So I want to tell you, like, well, I think I'll share, if you feel guided to share a couple of things as far as the 3 areas of your life that's being affected, and then we'll kind of visit those deeper. So the unresolved issues and relationships that I'm seeing, and I'm seeing this collectively with everyone I've been working with for the past, it's been going on really for the past few weeks, but it's picked up speed, and it's really coming to a head right now with this new moon energy, which, by the way, is a portal opening for the rainbow light, that we have 3 consecutive new moon cycles coming up over the next 3 months, basically throughout the summer. That's setting up between June, July, and August, creating this portal into this energy I'm talking about. Because what I mean by that is everything's a transition. Nothing's black and white. And you're talking about a 7-year truth cycle that we're talking about here. We're talking about it's going to take some time to experience it, embody it, and transition into that new energy. So from a standpoint of the relationships here that I'm seeing is with parents and the twin flame that's being revisited. And what I got to tell you is, and I've said this with clients and my personal experiences, that it's like the twin flame pointed us in the direction of parents, that the parents pointed us in direction of twin, and now twins sending back to parents in order to clear the final layer between self and twin, because it mirrors. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of that, and I know that's very deep, but this is no joke. Like, the twin sent to the parents for family healing, family sent back to the twin to heal some spaces and deeper within self, that now went back to the parents and now back to the twin, which is healing the final layer of what's blocking self and all relationships, of all unresolved issues. Because now it's about not being in fear of rejection anymore, about our truth. And at the end of the day, it is coming into play about who we are. And that's where I've been leading up to this with, I'm free to be me. I'm free to speak my truth. I don't have to hide anymore. So with that being said, these are the areas that I'm really seeing impacted right now. And that is sexuality and coming out in who we are as a sexual being, sexual preferences, being able to share that with family, and then in addition to that, religious and belief systems are also being triggered and hit here, as well as also the finances are being like addressed in this space of this time in evolution. And this is because in our truth, it's about expressing our truth to a greater degree within our mission is why. And it's about being able to come into a place of feeling like you can get paid to speak your truth for doing what you love and trusting that process. So I got to tell you, at the end of the day, if you were to wrap up this idea and this concept of resolving unresolved issues with parents and the twin, and also resolving the issues about, you know, the trust that you have for not being a mission, about your finances that are wrapped around getting paid for to speak your truth. And then in addition to that, with these belief systems, it's all coming down to, like, again, I mentioned this, I can't say this enough. It's about the mere reflection pointing back to you for another layer of self-judgment that you need to heal within yourself so you can come into self-acceptance of who you are. And you're being asked to be who you are. And this is what this timeline is doing. And this is what all of these cycles and all these events has been leading up to. And the key is to stop resisting it. So sometimes, you know, like, let's just say we need to address some of these unresolved issues with relationships and say parents, or coming out with our belief systems with them, or you know, our sexuality and those sorts of things. So like when we try to cover that up and we try to mask that and we try to hide that, we're not being authentic and we're not being true to ourselves and who we are. And so sometimes it's letting go of the thought and the idea that you're afraid to share who you are to begin with, meaning that you may not necessarily have to, you don't have to sit down and schedule an appointment to say, we got to talk and I want you to know all these things about me. It's more like you just let go of the fear of being who you are, that if it were to come up, that you could express that and then allow that to take place. Now, I'll also tell you from personal experience, there's layers to that, meaning at some point your greatest resistance in it will create the greatest breakthrough you have by coming out and being free to be you, which is why I had started that I'm Free to Be Me challenge, and I didn't even realize that was leading up to this cycle. And if you have not visited that, I will definitely put a link below to go back and watch that series of I'm Free to Be Me, and I'm Coming Out. I have like a 4-part series. This may actually become part 5 of that series in order to be able to link this full cycle, because we've been leading up to this. And I feel like that, as I say that this is going to kind of be a piece of that playlist as well. And so if you haven't visited that, though, please go back and watch that. Also, if you've not gotten plugged into the I'm Free to Be Me challenge and committing to saying I'm coming out and being who you are, basically, and expressing that truth, then I would highly suggest that you follow me on Facebook and come over there and listen to some additional things that I've been sharing there. And you can commit to that and sign up for the Majestic Swan ring that I've been giving away. I have one more to give away in the next, it will be next week. And so you can get registered for that at the link below. You can also get additional registrations by putting hashtag I'm Coming Out in one of the post comments, and or share a comment from Facebook that will also get you connected to that challenge that I've kind of put together there. So yeah, check that out, because it's some very good information to piggyback everything I'm telling here. And also there are some people that have lived out what I've been saying here, and they've been like doing just this, wanting to express their truth. And for you to be able to go back and watch their stories, very inspirational, very, very powerful. What's ultimately happening here at the end of the day, as we do this, is becoming, I said, like facing our own judgment and coming into our own acceptance of who we are. And in doing that, what's really happening is it's opening our heart chakra so that we can let love live. And I've been seeing a lot of people that's been blocked in their heart chakra. And so one of the things that I've been shown to share with clients over the last week is as they take like a pool noodle. And if you don't have a pool noodle, you can roll up a towel and put it at the base of your neck and your spine long ways, and lay on the floor and open your heart chakra. And you can also use rose quartz. You can use rose oil, use moist, warm, hot towels, like damp towels that are maybe microwaved or something, over your chest, and do some really deep, expansive breathing, because our lungs are one of the most underused organs of the body, and that's going to also help to embody the energy, as well as exhale toxins and things like that that we're trying to eliminate that get stored within the DNA of our energetic being. So this is a tip for you to help you be able to expand your heart chakra. And what the fear of this is coming from is the fear of loss, of what has came in for you in the past, really the fear of love or anything that's been that you would love. So, you know, in fear of, like, say, receiving love and being rejected from parents, abandonment issues from twin flame, from loving what you do, from even in an aspect of the rejection of, like I mentioned, the belief systems. And so, like, we have this sense of rejection, and then in that it's creating this pain of, I'm afraid to be open to receiving that highest divine love from all levels, like beloveds, parents, you know, what we do, all of those things, because we're afraid that once we open up to it, that it will be taken from us, and the fear of that rejection, being rejected. So be working on your heart chakra, as I mentioned. So I want to see now, I feel guided to kind of share some examples with you to kind of bring this home so you can understand how it truly relates to the parental connection with the twin. So let me just, I'm going to tune in like an example here, because I've been working with different people on this, and I've been experiencing a lot of this too. And I got to tell you that the timing of it is no accident either, because we have Father's Day on Sunday here in the United States. I'm pretty sure it's a global situation. And so, you know, we're having these family revisiting like the connection of fathers right now, and the impact that the fathers have had over a sense of this idea of being accepted and or being rejected, okay, which is again the idea of being judged or being self-judged. And with the mothers, it's coming into an aspect of them having like that blessing, like having a mother's blessing. And this happens a lot with, say, the divine masculine and the mothers. The mothers have not let go of control, and the divine masculine hasn't been emotionally connected to their being and their self, and to be able to stand in their own truth, because they've had so much control and manipulation their whole entire life. And so the same thing, say, with the divine feminine coming into place with the divine masculine fathers, it's been about, am I good enough? Can I comply with those expectations that father has? And that's really boiling a lot around like our belief systems, and even down to both parents into this religious aspect. So let's talk about the religious aspect in that, because I'm seeing this a lot with people as about their beliefs. And I also want to say that it could be the same thing with the sexuality. There's two big ones. Like, so religion and sexuality are really two big ones here. So, but I think that the religion and belief systems in that will be more kind of neutral between everyone. Also, no, it doesn't have to be necessarily the daughter, father, and the mother, son. It can be either or, and it just depends on the dynamic. But I do want to tell you that is what I'm seeing to be more of the common rule of thumb. Okay? So when it comes to, for instance here, you know, as we come out of the spiritual closet, right? Because this is in the twin flame taboo that I've been talking about. As you know, we are different. We are also, I've got to tell you this, one of the reasons why that we are creating so much pain in the heart from this, it's creating expansion of the heart in this duality and this contrast that I'm talking about, but it's doing that from a place that we, like our family and siblings and family and all those around us are more of our soul family that we've been in the same monad and we've had multiple lives with, and we've, they've been in our lives for many times. And now we're moving into like coming out of that monad of the soul group, and we're leaving that monad into our star family, which is because we're going up in ascension and connecting to more of the higher light. And that separation is causing pain in the heart of this, like letting go. And it's giving people like a sense of sadness and a sense of like, feeling really sad around these family issues. And all these family issues are coming up in order to, like I said, reevaluate the unresolved issues between relationships to communicate more of your truth so you can become who you are with these people, so that you can accept the duality within yourself and the contrast of that, so that you can be all that you came here to be in your standing in your truth and get over this fear of rejection. So now, as I mentioned, like the belief aspect. So for instance, let's just say I said the spiritual closet and coming out and, practicing voodoo, or people call it witchcraft, or, on and on, that we are different, and the standard concept of logic of people, because these aren't things you can measure, but we know it exists. And sometimes we question that ourselves. That's why it's coming into a place of, do we believe in us? Do we believe in our truth? Do we believe in what we do? Do we believe in what we came here to be? Do we believe in the twin flame journey? What do we believe? So I feel like the piece of that is we have to get really clear on what we believe within ourselves and stop worrying about what other people think about that as well, even though those people are coming into our lives to test us in the reflection of what we believe in ourselves. So if you look at that from a place of spirituality in general and how that relates to, say, families of a religion origin, and or I'm seeing this even not just with like the dynamic of a family, but like families and the culture, like culture and the background culture, and going, 5 and 6 and 7 generations deep within a culture standpoint of belief and religion and sexual preferences and those sorts of things, including divorce and or even like connecting outside of your own culture in a relationship. Those are things that, the family is placed on expectation. And so it set us up to feel that we're doing something wrong or outside of the normal, or that what are they going to think of us? And so us now being able to face our family and come out of the spiritual closet and or maybe the sexual preference closet to be able to express our divine truth of who we are without having to hide it and be that version of ourselves, and let go, be able to express our truth and let go of the fear of rejection. And that this is what we're now being faced with. And I got to tell you, it's the twin sending us to the family right now. And this is where we're at. Okay, this has been going back and forth already, but I'm sticking to this last piece of like where the relationship that you have with your twin right now is also then being able to come into their in fear of expressing their own truth and knowing what their truth is with clarity too. How can they do it if you can't? By you addressing it with your own dynamic of yourself and your own family, and being able to release that fear of who you are and being who you are, that shifts back to the twin once you've done it, that they now have to comply within the dynamic of the template that fits together a certain way. It shifts that dynamic between the two of you, and now they have to fall in suit of the same thing. Of course, it's not, the intention should not be behind it to do that. It's more you do it for yourself, because this is a self journey. But at the end of the day, that is allowing you to come together in truth and stand in truth together of who you are, individually and as a unit. And so, in addition to that, like when it does come to, like I mentioned, these belief systems and these religious aspects and the sexuality, that's showing and proving that we can accept all that is, and that we can coexist, and that we can have contrast in that, meaning religion and spirituality coming together as a unit and oneness for both existing. But we have to accept ourselves before we can expect anyone else to accept us. So in addition to that is the same thing with our finances and our missions and getting paid to speak our truth and getting paid to do what we love and what we came here to do. So if, you know, we are not expressing who we are and not expressing our truth, and we haven't clarified exactly what that is, then it's also hard to, like, you know, come into a place of, you know, if you're in a lack of clarity and you don't own your truth, how can you get paid for that? You know, how can you get paid for something that is your template of your own mission that you came here to experience and put into motion and to bring into form if you can't honor that truth within yourself? So by you helping to heal these unresolved issues, you know, and especially, you know, coming into identifying your truth of your own belief system, it's going to help heal your finances and connect you into your mission and your purpose is the goal. Now, I got a message from a friend this morning that said that, you know, like this is that shift or be shifted. She's wanted to make changes. You know, she's definitely kind of been through the same thing of what I'm saying. Not necessarily in a twin flame dynamic, but it doesn't matter. We're all being affected and addressed in this. You know, she has a mission. She's like myself, well, the path of 20-something years to have paralleled each other and like trying to get in alignment with her mission and her truth of that. And she's at a crossroads of direction of what's next. And so she had sent me a message asking for some advice on some clarity for that. And so, you know, the thing is, like, shift or be shifted. She's in a position now. She was forced into the crossroad. This is part of what I'm saying. It's not at a crossroad that she chose. It's at a crossroad that she's at that's forcing us to find our truth, is what I'm telling you here. So this is what's happening. We're being at this crossroad to find our truth and this energy that we're in right now so that we can express that truth, we can complete the cycle of ourselves, and we can align with the greatest version of ourselves in full clarity of who we are and what we came here to experience and be and have and do. So resolving this contrast is going to help create coexistence of the oneness of, like, the universe. And the universe is in a place of being ready for oneness. So we also have to find the oneness in ourselves to plug into the oneness of all that is, which is aligning us with our destiny. And it's helping to heal and restore, you know, all sides of ourselves. And also collectively, we're healing the divine feminine energy and the sacred sexuality. So we're also being asked in the sexual preference aspect to be able to let go of shame and guilt so that we can align with the truth of who we are and what we came here in this lifetime to experience, do, be, and have. So I invite you to take this weekend of Father's Day weekend as a clean slate, as an opportunity to come out and not hide who you are anymore, and to be able to express your truth with clarity without the fear of rejection and judgment. Because if you're feeling that, it's coming from yourself, so you can come into self-acceptance within who you are on your own. So I feel like that's complete. I do got to say one more thing. I woke up this morning to a bunch of hammering and banging going on upstairs. So you may or may not hear this, but it's on the second floor. I'm on the first floor. It's the second floor, and it's been going on all day. And it's so funny because of all the days, it's like, okay, like, you know, I'm having to find the peace and serenity in the middle of the chaos, so to speak. And I'm doing a great job. I've actually kind of tuned it out this whole time. But then it came in, and I think it came in because I want to share with you one of the things that came to me whenever I was asking guidance. It felt like a message. What's going on up there? And what guidance told me is that our futures are being constructed already up higher. And there's two, like, this happened 3-4 months ago. Like, there was some flooring being put in, and there was one hammer going along all day. Now there's two going on up there. Two people are constantly banging and hammering and clanking. This is teamwork. This is twins becoming in union in the 5D. This is our future as already been constructed. And that what we need to do is to embrace the journey and express ourselves along the way as we get in alignment with our truth. So, with that being said, I send you loads of love. Be sure to check out all the ways you can shine with me. And if you have not got plugged into my Reboot Your Soul blueprint, that's 11-part video series, please check that out below. I also have a Complete Your Soul contract checklist that needs to be some things that need to be taken care of. Check that out below. May you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.